Good morning. Good, good morning. Good afternoon. I am Gilles Vassal and extremely pleased to welcome you to the annual Accelerate International Multi-Stakeholder Platform meeting. It's a very special moment today because we will be doing this by Zoom only, experimenting the capacity to interact and work together through this instrument. And I'm convinced that it will work. The team has made extremely important effort to make it run, and we hope it will be. So welcome again. And Accelerate is the international multi-stakeholder organization, which is a working organization aiming to solve central challenges in the development of innovative anti-cancer medicine for children and adolescents, working together to accelerate innovation for children with cancer. Next slide. What happened since we met last February 2020? Next slide. The Race for Children Act was launched on August 28, 2020, and not 2021. This is a major change in the environment, and Greg Raymond will update on this regulation and the implementation. Next slide. Europe is launching the pharmaceutical strategy for Europe. And within this strategy is planned a revision of the pediatric and orphan regulation. And Fabio Datri from the European Commission will share with us what are the objectives of this extremely important piece. Next slide. Yesterday, Europe launched its Beating Cancer Plan, which is a 4 billion plan to improve prevention, treatment, and care for patients with cancer. There are 10 flagships programs, and one of the 10 is putting childhood cancer under the spotlight with a dedicated objective of helping children with cancer. Next slide. In 2020, the Nobel Chemistry Prize was delivered to Emmanuel Charpentier and Jennifer Doudna for this gene editing tool named CRISPR-Cas9. And this has changed already, and even more in the future, life science and the way we develop innovation. Next slide. Last year, 22 medicinal products for cancer were approved by the Food and Drug Administration in the US. 4 of them had a pediatric indication, In 2020, 11 new medicinal products for cancer have been approved by the European Union following the evaluation by European Medicine Agency, and 2 of them have a pediatric indication. Next slide. On January 14 this year, 2 weeks ago, FDA approved the crizotinib for children and young adults with relapsed or refractory systemic anaplastic large cell lymphoma. This is 10 years after the first marketed approval of crizotinib for ALK-positive lung cancer. 10 years, much too long. We need to accelerate. Next slide. Since last year, what happened in Accelerate? Next slide. We welcome first the support of the Andrew McDonough Be Positive Foundation, which really is a strong support to Accelerate. And we will have later on today a message from Joe McDonough, the president of the Be Positive Foundation. Next slide. We welcome 2 new members of the staff, Teresa de Rojas, who is pediatric oncologist and scientific coordinator, and Michael Vranken, who is pharmacist and policy and communication administrator. And they join Andrea De Madonna. You all had received some email from Andrea, and this is Andrea. I'm an Accelerate coordinator who is really playing a major role in the implementation of this initiative. This is what we call the dream team. Next slide. In the steering committee, we welcome two new members. This is on the left-hand side. Stephen Dubois, pediatric oncologist from the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute in Boston, and Leah Gore, pediatric oncologist from the Children's Hospital of Colorado, who is also vice president of the Children Oncology Group. And you do remember that in Accelerate, we do have 4 colleges with 4 members: academia, industry, patient advocacy, regulatory bodies. And we are extremely pleased to have Jeff Reskolnick, Raphael Rousseau, and Peter Adamson working with us still as Intuitu personnel. Next slide. Accelerate is a working organization. No blame, no shame. Generate data and find solutions is the motto. And the motto is, we can do that if we do work together. Next slide. In 2017, we launched and piloted the concept of pediatric strategy forums. And ever since, it has been developed, and now it is recognized in the field as important assets to facilitate prioritization of compound for the development in for children and adolescents with cancer in a multi-stakeholder approach. And Andy Pearson will update this tomorrow morning or afternoon, depending where you are. Next slide. It's an organization which is working with work stream, and we have 5 work streams at the moment. Fostering age-inclusive research, providing better access to innovation for teenagers, developing a recommendation for investigative supported trial, academic trial, in order for them to be fit for filing, establishing an asset to generate long-term follow-up information for children and adolescents receiving new medicine that we don't know what it is on the long term for these medicines, identifying and finding solutions for the barriers in the implementation of international collaboration, and finally, how in the field, the real-world evidence using the real-world data can really be done in a way that it will serve the development of innovative medicine. Next slide. We are launching a brand new initiative in 2021. Everything you always wanted to know about strategic and regulatory science in pediatric oncology. So please stay tuned. We will send information for this brand new educational initiative that has been really suggested by our new members in the staff. Next slide. Accelerate is an international organization. You see the map and the new countries joining this year. And this is important because we want to really improve the development of innovative medicine for children and adolescents with cancer globally. So thank you to all of you from all these countries to contribute, work with us, and try and make the needle move. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank very much our colleagues from the West Coast, because they wake up very early to participate today. And I would like to also make apology for our colleagues from Australia, because it was not possible for them to attend. But clearly we had a meeting with them last week, and we will really be developing the activity of Accelerate with Australia and New Zealand as well. Next slide. Today, you are 326 registered attendees, the largest number ever for this conference since the beginning. Of course, this is due to Zoom, and Zoom providing a better access to more people to our events. However, we had to shorten the duration of the meeting. We were missing the networking activity, which is an important activity in this meeting. We were missing the lining up for getting coffee, but we hope that we can really have a very interactive work together over the next 2 days. So now I will ask you 2 questions, and you will vote on your screen. The first question is, are you attending the annual Accelerate meeting for the first time? Yes or no, you click on screen and you submit. Very rapid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Done. And the results are, well, 40% of you have already attended this meeting and 50% of you did not. So welcome to all of you. And we hope very much that those joining for the first time will appreciate, will be interactive, and really will make this even more successful than in the past. The second question for you is, what stakeholder are you? Academia, industry, parents, patients, advocates, regulatory networks, young investigators, or other? This is a multi-stakeholder organization. So please vote. Click on screen. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we stop. And you are 30% of academia, 38% of industry, 10%, 11% of parents, patients, 8% of regulators, and young investigators. And we do have others. So 2 comments. For the first time, we do have young investigators because we thought it was important to welcome them in this initiative, to welcome them in this meeting, because it's a brand new activity that people should be known, and should be trained. So they are very welcome in this meeting. And among the others, I'm sure, and I know, there are representatives, for example, from health technology assessment, and we are very pleased to have them with us because this is clearly a topic, as we discussed in the past, that we will discuss even more later on. So thank you very much for this, an international meeting. And we do have Geoffrey Makovich from Australia saying they are there. I think it might be just the middle of the night. So welcome, guys. Welcome, guys, from Australia. Very nice to have you. Thank you. So this will be an interactive meeting, and we will try to do something that we never did before, to do the classical, usual breakout session meetings virtually. You receive information on February 2nd. You will be split later on. I will tell you how it works. So if you don't have the information yet, go to your email box and find this message. And then you will be asked to contribute and work in one of the 10 groups that will address the 5 topics that you already know. Next slide. So I will cease here just to let you know that we would like to explore a new work stream with you. And this is a topic of the first session: access to medicine outside clinical trials in the pediatric and precision oncology landscape and capturing data. And this is the reason of this first session, really to figure out understanding the issue and trying to propose a way to find solutions. So thank you very much for being with us. Thank you very much for being so numerous.